Syngoniums that I have in this plant loving house. My beautiful and
What?
green on green type of variegation, but once it hardens off, then you can really see the yellow come through. The back of the leaf, there is some variegation that I could see on it, but as the leaf is unfurling and I look at the front, it doesn't look like there is any significant variegation. As I said, there is also a Syngonium frosted heart in here, and it's quite Goeiemorgen, goeiemiddag, goeienaand. Whether it is morning, afternoon, or evening where you are, it's always a good time to watch some plant YouTube. My name is Shanae, and in today's video, I am going to be showing you all of the Syngoniums that I have in this plant loving house. It seems like every year my wish list is dominated by one specific genus, and I then dub it the year of that specific genus. In 2023, it was the year of Syngoniums, and that is pretty much when I got all of these Syngoniums that you see around me. And I think there is about 20, but who is counting? So this is the one genus that actually brings some color into the house. So as you can see over here, there is a lot of pinks happening. So I decided to look in my cupboard for the brightest pink pens that I could find, just to, I guess, blend in with my Syngoniums. So let's get into the video. Alright, so now let's talk about some yellow plants. So over here I have the Syngonium aurea, and aurea essentially just means yellow variegation. So this is what a new leaf looks like. It kind of looks like a green on green type of variegation, but once it hardens off, then you can really see the yellow come through for sure. This was a plant that was very difficult to find back in 2023, and I think I had to import this plant. I think with Syngoniums that propagate so easily, it is probably a little bit more easier to find these days. This plant is in a need for a chop and prop. So I'm going to a plant swap in a couple of weeks' time, and this is only going to be my second ever plant swap. The first one that I went to was quite cool, and I brought a whole lot of Syngoniums to that one, and that was the hit. Everybody wanted to swap a Syngonium with me. So in today's video, I am also going to cut some of these so that I can take it along to the plant swap. We are going to do a Syngonium wall outside on my patio. So some of these definitely need a chop for that as well. So as this video goes along and I see a plant that needs chopping, we are going to do that together. So this Syngonium definitely needs that chopping. If I just lift it up, I did rotate it towards the bottom of the pot, but if I lift that up, it is quite long and you won't even be able to see the top of it. So it's probably about a meter or so. So what I'm going to do is, there's two plants in here. I think this one is still fine, but for sure we are going to be cutting this one. I am going to cut it really, really short. So here we go. So here we are. I'm not going to take all of these cuttings to the plant swap. I am also going to propagate it for my plant wall that I'm going to do. Syngoniums are really easy to propagate. They have nodes, and you would probably be able to see that they already have some aerial roots that they develop quite quickly. So once you put that in water, it pretty much takes a couple of days for it to start growing. So what I'm going to do, if I want to propagate this one, I'm going to cut just in between the two nodes. So the two nodes is where a new leaf is going to emerge. So pretty much somewhere here is where I'm going to do that first snip. And you would be able to see on this cutting there is some nice aerial roots already. So I'm just going to continue cutting the nodes for these ones as well and put them in water. So we have 9 cuttings, so that is going to be 9 new plants that is going to be created from this one. I'm probably going to be keeping 2 or 3 of those for myself that I'm eventually going to put on my Syngonium orbit. So Let me go and put these in water and then we'll be back to look at the next plant. I really wanted a planter in the middle of the room on my coffee table with some beautiful plants in it. And I wanted to bring some color to that specific space. And I found a whole lot of Syngoniums that tickled that fancy. So I bought one of these glass bowls at a at-home store or shop that sells home decor. And I filled it up with liquor, bought a couple of pink Syngoniums and put them in there. At the time they were very small, maybe a 1-leaf or 2-leaf cutting, but now it is quite bushy as you can see. Let me show you all of the varieties that is in here.
If this pot looks a bit sparse to you compared to the pot that you just saw, then you would be correct. I forgot to take a video before chopping all of the plants in here, but nevertheless, let me show you what we have in here. We just saw the milk confetti. It's a beautiful plant that has predominantly light green leaves with spots of pink, but some of them also have half moon pink variegation. Next to it is the red spot tricolour. As the name suggests, has 2 green tones as well as pink parts of the leaf. The grey ghost is also in here with a lighter green colour, dark green spot and a pink tone that radiates through the main vein. This is the pink spot. Easy to see why. It has a light pink leaf and darker pink spots. Finally, there is also a pink trileaf in there. The leaves are completely pink and has 3 or more lobes. The underside of the leaf is actually a beautiful bright green. The contrast between the two is so cool to see.
So on this pink pot, there is a lot of very long vines. So let's do a cut of those ones as well. So as you can see here, this is pretty much one long vine. And I'm going to cut it almost to the base. I'm pretty much just going to leave about 1 or 2 leaves on there. The cutting is also going to help to activate a new growth point on this plant. So it's not detrimental to the plant, it's actually quite good. So it has a new base of which it's going to grow from. So this one is very long. I think we're going to get a lot of cuttings from here. So let's go. So here is the cutting that I have. And I'm also going to do 1-leaf cuttings so I can get quite a couple for myself, but also for the plants one. So this is pretty much what is left of that big bush, but in no time it is going to be big and beautiful again. And here we have my beautiful and
What?
And here we have my beautiful Syngonium steyermarkii.
Well, let's see how we say that.
Here we have my beautiful Syngonium steyermarkii. So if you look at this plant, it kind of doesn't look like a Syngonium. It looks very different to all of these that we've looked at so far and all of the ones that we are going to look at today. And that is quite unique about this plant, and that's why I really wanted it. So these are quite juvenile leaves, and it looks a little bit arrowhead. And you would be able to see on this side of this leaf that it's doing this extra type of zigzag type of shape. And that is what the mature form kind of looks like. I'll try and put a picture up here so that you can see what that looks like. So very different to what the juvenile form looks like. So in winter, this plant threw out some leaves that was very discolored. I didn't change the location that it was in, so it was definitely not a difference in any type of conditions, but all of a sudden it just looked like these leaves just got so bleached. And it did that for probably about all of these leaves, or about 3 or 4 of them, and I had absolutely no idea what was wrong with the plant. But I decided to let the plant figure itself out, and now in spring I did. After throwing out these discolored leaves, this was the first one that kind of looked a little bit normal, but still a little bit deformed. So there was definitely something that happened with this plant, but plants are very resilient. They can figure themselves out. The next leaf was this one. It did get some mechanical damage when I moved, but it looked much better than the previous one. So this one also then gave me a lot of hope that this plant is really on the up and up. And then this is the new leaf that it gave me, and you can definitely see it is doing well, it is happy, and it is thriving. Over here, I don't know if you're able to see, but we have another new leaf incoming. So again, this is more of a plant that didn't do well. What we are going to be doing today is cut off these ugly looking leaves and just leave the nice leaves. Seeing that this plant is actively growing, I think in the next 2 months or so, this should be a nice full bushy plant. And I'll probably need to give it either a pole or some sort of support that it can climb up on and it can reach quite mature leaves. So let's get our scissors out and get some cutting of these ugly leaves. Looks fast, but I think much better. Alright, so that is the beautiful steyermarkii. So here we have a mango illusion leaf. This one has a nice green as well as a pale yellow type of variegation to it. Also, if you look up really closely, you would be able to see that it has some pink veins that also makes it quite an interesting looking plant. So this one is also quite large. This one also shares the pot with some other Syngoniums, and over here you have the Syngonium scrambled egg. So it also have the green and the yellow variegation. So, and it also has a little bit of white. This leaf doesn't have a lot of it, but you can see in the veining there is some yellow, there is some white going through. So it's a really nice plant. I enjoy looking at it, especially when a new leaf comes in. It looks so different every time. It's really a treat to watch new leaves coming in, like a new leaf that's coming in over here. Really fast grows, both of them. Pretty much as soon as a leaf is done hardening off, a new leaf comes. The third plant that is in here is the strawberry ice. Not looking the greatest, still working on some new leaves, but the characteristic of this one is that it also has some green, but then it has some pink and a little bit of white in there as well. So really nice plant. I absolutely love that my Syngoniums can share their pots with each other. It's so nice to bring different colors into one pot. Like here you have the yellow variegations as well as the pink variegations. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. All of my Syngoniums are also in lacquer. They seem to have found their happy place with that. This planter also lives in my living room next to the TV. I have a couple of these pot stands and they are self-watering as well. I bought a couple of them specifically for the Syngoniums. I really like putting them close to a window or close to a sliding door where there is a lot of light coming in. And the pot that stands on its own on the floor and is a little bit elevated is just perfect for that. So over here, similar to what I've shown you before, there is a couple of varieties in here. So this one is the Syngonium Panda Galaxy. I don't get why the Panda is included, but the Galaxy for sure. There is some patterning on here which looks kind of like a picture of a galaxy. I don't know, but there was a lot of hype around this plant when it first was introduced in the South African market, and of course I had to get it because it was the year of Syngonium. But as it's maturing, it's not really showing a lot of characteristics that is completely different to any other plant that I have. I really like the fact that they are just plain green and have a little bit of variegation in it. So everybody needs a green plant, so if you just want to have the jungle feel in your house, this is definitely the plant to get. In here I also have the Syngonium 3 Kings, and this is a leaf that I absolutely love. I'm going to try and bring it closer to the camera to show you, but it's really a leaf that I have been admiring for a long time. So I like the fact that it is so narrow and has a good balance between the two variegations, between the darker green and the lighter green, and I think this one probably wanted to mature, and that's why it has the indentation here in the middle. Every leaf on this plant looks quite different. Like you'll see these ones have more light green compared to the dark green, and then there are others that have more green than white. So really a good mix. These plants, like all the other Syngoniums, grow really fast. Syngoniums like to climb, so you kind of do need to give them some sort of support, but I haven't been paying these ones a lot of attention, but they have grown a lot and they definitely need something to support them. But I actually don't have anything. I actually need to go to a nursery to go and get some of those plant stakes and stake it up. But you should see a project that is going to help them to climb a wall. So they should be really happy about that. And this is what happens when you do try and let the Syngonium trail. The leaves go smaller and smaller every single time. Here we have some new leaves coming in. Look how tiny that is. Even if you look at the previous one, it is a teeny tiny one. It also has this very long internodal spacing because it is trying to reach and try and get more light, and that's why it's doing that. But these ones I am going to propagate because there is a lot going on here and I really need to sort it out. Over here we have another of those white pot stands, and here we also have a couple of Syngonium varieties in. This one is the Syngonium Mojito. This one is a really nice Syngonium. It has a green leaf and it has some white mottled type of variegation. This one is very, very long and is in a desperate need for a cut.
Wow.
So I'm probably going to cut it here and then propagate all of these. So if you know a little bit about Syngonium, they are called arrowhead Syngoniums, and they kind of look like an arrow if you look at the shape of the leaf. But as it matures, it gets more lobes. So this one has matured, and here it has 3 lobes. But seeing that I'm not giving it the right conditions and I'm not letting it climb up something, I did kind of go back to a little bit of the juvenile leaves, but I'm sure as soon as I let it climb again, it is going to mature even more. So this one I'm going to cut quite a bit as well, and then I'm going to let it climb in the new environment that I'm going to give it. So that is the Syngonium Mojito. This one is called the Syngonium Batik, and this one is unique because it has some white veins in it. There's a couple of different vines in here. I propagate these plants multiple times and put a couple of them back over the years, so there should be more than one. Over here we have our iconic Syngonium Albo, and essentially what that means is it has some white variegation. So it has the green and the white variegation. This one you can also see is also maturing. It's also getting some of those lobes, not as obvious as the Mojito, but you can definitely see the shape of it. And this one I've cut before, and it also activated some other growth points on this vine, and it managed to do a complete Albo one. So if you are able to see, let me turn it around and you'll probably see it a little bit better. So over here, there is no green on these. So these don't last very long. I think 2 leaves is probably its max. As soon as this one matures and pushes another leaf, this one will probably die off. There is no chlorophyll in this leaf to sustain it. I'm actually quite indifferent to it, so that's why I haven't removed this part of the plant yet. I mean, looking at the stem, there's a little bit of green, but probably about 1%, I would say. None of the leaves have come from that part where it has a little bit of green, so none of them have shown any dark green on it. It's always these ghost-like leaves. That is all of the 3 that is in this pot. The last pot that I want to show you is the pot of Chiapense. So there's about 4 plants in here. There's 2 normal green form. There's supposed to be 1 variegated, but seems to be reverted already. And then there is also the frosted heart in here. This one is actually on the variegated plant. This is the newest leaf, but it is quite big. I really enjoy looking at this leaf. But let me show you at the bottom. Here is probably the most variegated leaf. But since this leaf, there has been spots of variegation, but nothing really that comes to this one. On the very newest leaf, and I'll put in some b-roll, on the back of the leaf, there is some variegation that I could see on it. But as the leaf is unfurling and I look at the front, it doesn't look like there is any significant variegation that comes through on the front of the leaf. Like I said, there is also some green ones in here, and this is one of the green ones. This is the newest leaf. There is literally no variegation on it. It's sizing up quite nicely, and it has a new leaf on the way. This also grows really, really fast. This leaf is not even hardened off yet. It looks like it's already about to unfold the next one. The other one is quite an interesting one. This one, you would see it looks kind of two-toned, so there is some lighter green and dark green in here. So I don't know if it's just because that it's getting too much light, but it's continued all over the plant, and I'm not quite sure why that is. I'm not complaining at all. This is the newest leaf, and even on this one, you would be able to see some of that difference in color. I'm not saying that it's variegation at all, but it does look interesting with the two-tone to it. This one I also gave a moss pole, but honestly Syngoniums don't need moss poles. I haven't filled this pole up at all with moss, so it's kind of just as a support for the plant. As you can see on this one, even though without a pole, has no issues with sizing up. But two of them are already much higher than this pole, so they definitely need urgent intervention. So this one that I'm holding, I am probably not going to try and fix it. I am going to chop and prop this one also for the plant swap. So this is the planter of Syngonium Chiapense that is literally taking over the entire screen. Absolutely love how big these get. It is so beautiful. I love it. So unlike all of the arrowheads that you get, and I absolutely love it. So like I said, there is also a Syngonium frosted heart in here, and it's quite obvious to see it. It is the one that has a little bit lighter of leaves. It has a little bit of a different texture to the Syngonium Chiapense. It's a little bit thinner, but it also is a little bit more rigidity compared to the smoothness of the Chiapense that I have. So the leaves does come in quite a light green color, and then it does get a little bit more darker, but you can definitely see that it has the light green in it. So really, really nice plant, and I really like that I put all of these ones together. Seeing that they are part of the same family, they blend in quite nicely. Alright, that is all of the Syngoniums that I have in this house. I absolutely love this genus. It's such an easygoing plant. Every single plant that I've shown you today is beginner friendly. If you want something that you don't have to stress about, you don't have to worry about, then these are the plants that you need to get. It also gets quite big if that is what you're into. And the nice thing about it is it changes with maturity. So you don't have the same plant that you had 2 years ago. It looks completely different if you give it the conditions that it wants, meaning if you let it climb. So, like I said, all of my Syngonium is in semi-hydro, all of them are in pond, so I do keep a reservoir for them, but they always dry out. They are such resilient plants. They get watered when they get watered. I try to do it on a schedule, but sometimes I don't get it right. Sometimes they do need a little bit more frequent water than I normally give them, but they forgive me every single time. And that is just something that I love about Syngoniums. I haven't collected any more. I know that there is a lot of different varieties that is on the market, but honestly I don't have any more space for more Syngonium at the moment. I still love the varieties that I already have. All of them look quite different. They're easy to care for. They make the house look like a beautiful jungle. So I'm pretty content with these Syngoniums that I have right now. But if you are a beginner, go ahead and buy all of the Syngoniums that your heart desires. They are beautiful, they are not going to die on you, and give you that motivation to continue in the plant hobby. So I'm really happy that this is one of the genus that I also started off with. But let me go and prop some more of my Syngonium, and I will see you in the next one. Have a lekker rest of your day. Bye bye.